What's up guys? Okay, Bethesda has announced the Creation Club and I'm a little bit split on it, but let's go through the actual information so far. Creation Club is a curated system by Bethesda. They're going to be accepting ideas and proposals and development, but they're also going to be overseeing it. It's coming summer 2017. You'll be buying it with in-game money bought through Steam, PS4, Xbox One, whatever system you're on. You have to apply to get in. Not any person can just throw up a piece of content onto the service. You have to apply, you have to be accepted. Make sure you have your resumes ready if you want to get in, for any mod authors watching this video. And the content will go through the entire development pipeline. It'll be localized, I assume, to multiple different languages. QA will be checking it, and it should be compatible with everything that is inside the base game of either Skyrim or Fallout 4, or probably any other Bethesda made game going forward. People who have created content for the service will not be paid by the players who actually buy the content, but instead be paid by Bethesda themselves when the proposal is accepted and at several development milestones. Keep in mind, they have not released any sort of dollar amount. They haven't specified on this, so who knows if it's like pennies on the dollar or if you're actually getting some gold here. They also claim that this is not paid mods, and they're going to try to separate themselves from the modding scene when it comes to this sort of content. And that's about it. Now, first of all, fuck you Bethesda. If you look at it, it's a blink and you miss, but if you look at the video, you will notice that they put up an example and it showed horse armor and survival mode. Two of the most controversial things to come out of Bethesda, I'd say ever. The horse armor for, I think it was Oblivion, which was basically microtransactions before microtransactions existed, and survival mode, which was not a part of base Fallout 4 and had to have been patched in, essentially, creating a system which, while it does work, there are still parts of it that don't feel organic to the game. It does feel like it was patched in. And aside from all that, keep in mind, this is essentially microtransactions. Now, it could be not so bad microtransactions depending on how they, do the program, or it could be terrible microtransactions. And on top of that, the credit system is one of those systems designed to prey on the weak. The reason why you can't directly buy these products is because they want you to buy credits and spend some of them on the product and then have some left in the wallet just to annoy you and say, hey, you have a little money left over that you can't use on anything else, might as well add some more money and try to spend it all. And I think one of my primary annoyances with this whole new system is just the idea that we may have a decrease in mods until this system is out, because they do state that things that were previously mods will not be accepted into the new system. Probably as a way to try to appease, the mod consumers who hate this system altogether and are afraid people just remove stuff from the Nexus in order to put it up behind a paywall, which, yeah, it would be a problem if they didn't do this, but that's that. My general opinion is I like the idea with some general worries aside from the ones I already stated. Like, I'm worried about the long-term ramifications on just the modding scene for Bethesda in general. There's also this general hatred for the modding consumers that I've learned about recently when it comes to the modding community. How modders actually talk to each other behind closed doors where people can't hear them, and it's a little bit disturbing, and giving them something like this, and I don't know. Generally, that whole debacle with MXR and modding, and I think I'll link a video talking about that in the description, but that whole debacle and scenario just rubbed me the wrong way, and I'm a little bit skeptical about the modding community as a whole at the moment. Aside from that, with the long-term ramifications, I also have worries about how they're going to do parity with consoles when it comes to these mods, because of SKSE and F4SE and just script extenders in general. How are they going to do that? I mean, it could be really amazing if they decide to make the extenders native to the game. That would be a really good technical innovation that probably should have happened years ago, but Bethesda. Or if they're going to simply gate them out. If you use SKSE, you can't get on the service. Are they going to do that? That's going to hold back a lot of really good content. So I really wonder what they're going to do with that. Obviously, since SKSE, first of all, it's not technically a mod per se, or actually it's more of a mod than actual mods. So I don't think it would even be able to get on the service if there wasn't that rule for previously existing products not to be able to get on the service. So I genuinely don't know what they're going to do when it comes to SKSE. And I think that was the biggest question with the original paid mod system as well. But moving on, I do believe that the community will determine what Bethesda accepts. If people don't like the nickel and diming of, you know, really small, like one piece of armor for, I don't know, 100 Bethesda credits or whatever they're going to be called, if people just don't buy it, then I don't think Bethesda will accept those kinds of products, because they had to pay the contract worker, which is essentially what they are, upon accepting the proposal. So they already pay them, and then they put out a product that no one buys. I don't know how that's going to work. But again, that's the whole community which will determine this. That would be the console community, PlayStation, Xbox, and the PC community. So even if the PC community vehemently disagrees with this system and refuses to buy anything from it, if they can get the consoles to purchase, you know, stuff from this new service, then they're still going to be green and golden, and they're still going to go forward with it. I just hope that the community as a whole, all of them, will collectively say, no, we don't want to be nickeled and dimed. We don't want a single weapon. We don't want a single armor. We don't want a single companion. We want packs. We want large amounts of stuff for a decent price. And if they do this right, if they do this whole system right, then the quality of said content will be higher. There will have QA workers looking at this. There won't be random BS bugs everywhere. You won't have a weapon that when it goes into your hands, you don't see anything and you're holding air and just shooting lasers from nowhere. Theoretically. This is Bethesda though, that requires a mod to make sure their games aren't buggy beyond all reason. Now, what I would like to see from this, again, I would like to see weapon packs, not individual things, because I think that's where you get a large amount of bang for your buck. I don't want to buy, you know, nickel and dime, I'm saying it again, I don't want to buy one weapon for 100 Bethesda gold or whatever they're going to use. I want to buy 10 weapons for 300 Bethesda gold, or whatever the equivalent is. For all I know, that's a ridiculous statement because I don't know the actual conversion amounts right now. I would also like to see quest expansions with professionally voiced dialogue. This is where that whole Bethesda's gonna be working with them thing goes in. That's where I see the most potential comes from. I would pay for quest expansions. They're really fun, they're really unique, but most of them either have lackluster dialogue or they have no dialogue whatsoever and it's all done in, you know, subtitles and text. If Bethesda gets in there and helps them out, we could have professionally voiced content, and that would be amazing. That would be great. That would be a huge contribution to the modding scene. Technically not a contribution because again, they're trying to separate this from modding, but you get what I'm saying. And finally, I want to see new features and functionalities. I want to see new things that can be expanded upon, not expansions on things they've already done. I don't want to see content coming in that's like an expansion on the settlement system, giving you XYZ new props like the actual DLC for Fallout 4 was. No, I want to see a brand new system which from there can be expanded upon, like dual wielding. Give us the ability to dual wield and allow modders to create all sorts of mods that modifies the dual wielding so you can wield 4 weapons instead of just 2. That's the kind of stuff I want to see from the Creation Club. With all that said, I do wonder what the modders' rights are going to be in this content, or contract workers. I keep saying modders. Do you go to the contract worker for bugs, or do you go to Bethesda? Do the contract workers get credit for their creation? Where is their name going to be on this? Or is it just going to be like any other Bethesda product where you don't really see, you know, their names all over the place? I think there's like a credits roll somewhere, but that's about it when it comes to, you know, who made the DLCs and such. Is it going to be like that, or is it going to be just like mods where the creator's name is all over the place on it and you know exactly who did this? But most importantly, I wonder, can you make a mod of Creation Club content? Just like you would normal Bethesda content. No one asks Bethesda for permission when they create a mod that uses Automatron's DLC. Or more particularly, they don't ask the texture artist who did the laser rifle, they don't ask them if they can create a new texture that looks better. They just do it because that's what modding is. But there's been this recent, you know, debacle, conversation, I don't know what to call it, about mod authors' rights. And that is a subject I would like to talk about a little bit more in another video. People have talked about it. It's a big concern for a lot of people in the modding community. How does that affect Creation Club? But again, all that will be learned in the future because Bethesda hasn't been very clear on exactly. They created a page, and that page will be linked in the description like everything else. They created that page and it gives you a general overview on what this is gonna be like, but it doesn't get into the nitty-gritty on those questions. And those questions do need to be answered to alleviate some people's concerns or, you know, create others. But finally, just to wrap up this video, I want to compare my original complaints on paid modding to this new system, and those complaints boil down to 3 things essentially. Nickel and diming the consumer, which with this new system can happen. Hopefully they don't do that, but it is completely at Bethesda's discretion. But at least it isn't a damn near guaranteed like it was with the original system. The second one was a huge split in the modding community. Well, too late for that. There's already modding civil war essentially in the comment section in certain areas. And finally, my worry for the decrease in free flow of ideas in the community once you introduce money into the equation. That is still going to be a concern with this new system, because once you add money to something, all of a sudden ideas that aren't profitable become less desirable. They happen less, and that genuinely worries me. Are we going to see more carbon copy whatever the masses enjoy from this sort of content, or are we going to see some genuinely new and innovative ideas out of here that might not get as much revenue? But those are just my worries. I'm generally, with this whole system, I'm hopeful but not necessarily optimistic, because I just can't trust Bethesda anymore to do the right thing. Or more specifically, I can't trust ZeniMax, the people who own Bethesda. They've shown time and time again that they're willing to degrade their own product for mass appeal, that they make decisions based purely on money, and to be blunt, I will never trust them again due to that season pass. But those are my opinions. Leave in the comment section what you think about this whole debacle. Do you think it could change the modding scene for the better, or do you think Bethesda is now going to start self-destructing their own community? I don't know, I'm gonna wait and see, but with all that said, I'll see you guys next time. Sayonara.